Hey, paisanos, it's the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer Weekly Race.
And yes, it is going to be a super show.
Indeed, Leslie Pro 04. Good evening, esteemed guests. I am Wolfman2000, you may also know me as Danstead, and we have 4 featured runners here ready to show that they are ready to kick butt in effectively a preview of the Super Mario Bros. 3 Randomizer tournament to come.
Indeed, and the flags we are running tonight are known as this year's Tournament Flag 1, and this entails as you see here, you get a Vanilla World 1. You're going to get the levels in the world that they're native to, but you could still get some very random placements of them. Here we start with 1-4. And notice, no auto-scroller. That's because for this flag set, auto-scrolling is reserved to 5-9 and 5-9 only.
Well, you're mostly correct. So there is one other feature, by the way, nice clear for everyone, there is one other feature with this flag set that we may get to encounter, but it hasn't shown up yet. So, the fortress numbers per world can also be randomized. This means Desert Land, which is the next world, can have 2 forts, maybe even 3. So what happens to those other levels? They get shuffled around. And it may be possible, though I haven't done enough testing, that we may see a lost level or 2 this way.
Whew, that is a nasty enemy setup to start 1-3, but our runners are getting through it just fine, and we do have some backstage plays.
Well, Meaty Guy is choosing to stay up front, while those backstage get a Lakitu Cloud. Nice.
Yeah, that's some good value right there. Can skip a level, which can really help if... Well, I mean, I could have suggested skipping this fort, but why would you do that when you know it's 1 fort and you can get an item here?
Well, getting the item is typically quicker than going through the Spike Hall and facing off against Boom Boom. But the item, well, it may be useful later, but I don't know how often we celebrate seeing a music box.
I just got a flashback to a scene where we had too many music boxes. Oh, we got a boss bass sighting in 1-2. Macobra is just moving it right along.
And we have triple boom, boom, boom for the other 3 as they are about to head into 1-2. And oh, that's a nice find. Hammer from the Hammer Bros.
That it is. One other runner did get to that already. So, Macobra's just getting that now, but that's going to be really nice because we do have with this flag set the ability to destroy locks. Now you get to World 7, and yeah, you could potentially dodge a nasty fort that way, or some other nasty stuff along the way. We got a pit stop for Teaks as Macobra is out of World 1. Midi Guy not far behind.
Oh, wonderful pit stop. That is a Tanuki suit. That's a tail plus statue transformation if we ever need it.
And there are some situations where that does come in handy. He's probably going for Fire Kill here. Now that would be faster because it appears to be a 5-hit Koopaling.
It was 4 or 5. I didn't get a good count. Alright, Quicksand stage is skipped, but the pyramid still lives on.
Yep, the pyramid is the same puzzle as you remember it. Note that some of the enemies here are not randomized, because without a tail, you would actually need those shells to break through. Ah, what are words?
Well, at least we did get through.
And at least that was a boomerang bro and not a regular hammer bro doing a moon jump coming out of there. Ooh, bad break for MIDI guy, having two shells collide. May have to respawn one or take this Buzzy Beetle from the bottom.
Fortunately, there are a number of shells available this time. There's always a few guaranteed, but it seems like we got more than normal as Macobra already through with the secret oasis stage.
Nice job sticking with it by MIDI guy. Things didn't quite go according to plan, and yeah, there was an extra shell there. There was a paratrooper that spawned in from one of the enemies that can be shuffled. And we do have an end card game sighting on Teeps' end, who did get one match, two matches.
And the rewards?
We'll know
I'll come
later.
back to you. Also, that Sledge Bro at the end of the Secret Oasis, bad. Just bad. Come on, game. Work with us.
Teeps had a Starman, so it didn't really matter. As now Pro is in 2-3, not going for coin strats. You can get a white toad house to spawn in this level if you get enough coins, but doing that requires the P-switch, and you often get lag heading up to those last 4 blocks, so not always possible.
By the way, Macobra found a second hammer, but the Hammer Bros, well, I mean, that tile was spiked with 2 Fire Bros. Let's hope the one below is a little bit kinder. Well, maybe. Still 2 Fire Bros, just a different configuration.
Yep.
And all for a mushroom? So, do we go through the fort, which we know is Desert Fort, or do we break the lock with the second hammer?
Desert Fort is relatively short compared to some of the forts in the later game, like 7F2, 8F, for example. So personally, I would rather do this fort and save that hammer for later. Besides, there are other spots where it can be used for better effect, in my view.
I'm trying to recall some of those spots, but for some reason, I am blanking on them. But I'm sure you'll call them out when we approach them. Proa entering the Desert Fort as Macobra is now leaving it. And Meaty Guy now sees the future. And... oh! I think Teeks got a third hammer from the end card game. And just chose to burn a few right there to go straight to the airship.
Well, if you got the extra resources, why not? Only not able to use the 2-hammer trick to start World 3, which is one that a number of runners like to do if that option's available, as I'm seeing a fire kill from a Cobra. Teeks went for it, got hit though, but doesn't matter, because it's a 3-hit Big Mouth.
Yeah, Morton Koopa Jr. will not get to rant about anything more at this point.
MIDI guy might be ranting about that lack of a hitbox from that particular Fire Bro, but the Fire Bros are weird. Their hitbox properties aren't the same.
Also...
and that's 3...
yeah, that was 3-1 at 3-1 at the actual 3-1 spot, I think.
No, that what happened is, I was actually about to mention that, but what I will say is this: 3-1 in that first pipe switched positions.
Ah.
The map tile shuffle does some interesting things like that sometimes.
Alright, so is this pipe going to be a good pipe or a bad pipe? Ooh, burning a hammer immediately for that lock, but we do have more pipes available. And well, we have our 2 forts here, but if I saw correctly, there was a lock and a bridge to be built, which means as long as we have access to the pipe, we're good.
Yep, that's one of those situations where keeping a hammer helps because that saved time from basically level clearing more than anything else.
But just like vanilla, we have to go through 3-9 first.
Those Paragoombas aren't fun to deal with. Ooh, a mini H jump from a Cobra. That is not easy to get, folks.
Alright, Teeks is now preparing to go up against Boom Boom. And Proa about to do the same. And Meaty Guy, well, has enough hammers, so we can move on.
Now, in a seed where hammers wouldn't break rocks, having 2 hammers to break the 2 rocks towards the start of World 3 would have definitely been the way to go, because that would have been where the time save would have been had the rando roll that. Ooh, Troy coming up just a bit short on that mini H jump. Reason that happened is because he wound up hitting the note block before landing on the ice block, which if he had done that, he would have had like about a 3 frames, very short frame window to get a jump off to make the H jump.
And oh, did that just happen to Meaty Guy as well?
Yes, it did. Teek's going for fire kill strats on Wendy. I don't blame them because, yeah, that can be a rough fight, especially as those hoops start going around. Macobra starting off World 4, Croy in the airship, Midi Guy about to be at the airship as we get 4F2.
The first fortress with donut blocks to show up, if I recall correctly.
It is.
And one advantage of seeing this fortress right away is we get to see immediately if the bridge is built or if we have to go on a little scavenger hunt. Scavenger hunt it is.
It is, but we might have also we don't know where the lock was that was removed, so that'll help. Oh, well, that was easy. It's right there.
You know, one step at a time. Alright, some call the first fortress of World 4 Thwomp Fort, some call it Candle Fort, some call it Annoying Fort. What do you call it?
This was one I didn't like as a kid, and I always took the bottom route. I didn't learn the upper route until I was like in my teens. But still, yeah, this one was a bit annoying as a kid, so yeah, it depends on how you view it. But yeah, it is loaded with thwomps and candles, and some of those hot feet do not behave.
Yeah, there is no way to tell the difference between the hot feet that do behave and the ones that don't, except by looking at them and hoping you're not too close. Which means the Boo Diddleys could perhaps learn a thing or two from them, but I don't know, maybe they're too shy to show up to, bravery lessons or something.
Yeah, they'd have to, go get the book Overcoming Shyness from the game Earthbound if they even want to think about it, but something tells me that might be a ways off. Troy going bottom route here as Macobra's got a 4 of 5 with a boss bass.
Yeah, and getting swallowed by that boss bass means permanent deep darkness. But fortunately, we have the Hawkeye and are able to get out of there. Okay, maybe we're thinking too much about that game now.
Now, one thing to mention is that after clearing the first fort in World 4, the one we came across first, Pro-A opted to nope out of the end card game. Not a bad strategy from a time standpoint, but unfortunately here, that means that some goods are being missed out on, namely the hammers. Not sure which card that was, however, that yielded them.
I unfortunately missed that detail as well. But as Macobra gets to float on down towards Skyland, ooh, Meaty Guy gets a star from the Hammer Bro encounter, while Pro-A manages to get a star from the end card. Or not the end card, the end goal. So we're seeing stars all over. Ooh, I appreciate what Teeks did there, but unfortunately took some damage instead. And okay, the king just talked about an ad and then the letter talked about an ad. That's impressive.
You don't see that every day. It's to start World 5, Macobra has 5-8 now. Interesting thing to note, and I didn't know this till it was mentioned, Nintendo Power Magazine for this issue featuring this game said that you couldn't get P-Speed in this level or beat it without taking a hit. Macobra just made them both look very, very silly. Not easy to do both in that level as 5-3. Jeez.
I may have to study that replay later to figure out how that P-Speed was gotten, because I always struggle with P-Speed on that one. And speaking of a level where you don't always get P-Speed, here's 5-3. Oh, and speaking of missing P-Speed, there goes Meaty Guy having a start again.
Now, the reason I cringe about 5-3 is something I just saw on Macobra's end. Those Paragoombas will fall through the floor, basically, to get to you.
Yeah, a number of enemies like to stay on their plane, but the flying enemies like Paragoombas? They don't care. And so, we end up with the ground fort. Fun fact, that block right there has a power-up, and if you can get a star, you can make your way over to Boom Boom's door safely. However, I don't know if you can get enough speed to actually take Boom Boom out with a star kill that way. I'm not that skilled to determine that yet.
I honestly don't think it's... I could be wrong here. But I don't think it's possible, and if it is possible, it might be one of those pass-only things, but I don't think it can be done, because I think it runs out either right as you get to the door, or as right as you get to Boom Boom himself, which means you have no chance of pulling that off.
Oh boy, Macobra has a smorgasbord of power-ups. I saw a hammer and a frog suit included.
Yeah, that last match he got was definitely the hammer. Didn't see what it was, though.
Last match was a mushroom, I believe.
That makes the mushroom the real source of the goods, as Pro-A is gonna have to deal with that end card after 5F1. We'll see if he changes his mind, or just sticks to his gun.
Alright, Meaty Guy ready for the Goomba Shoe Factory. Surprisingly devoid of Goomba shoes. But not Goombas, though. Meantime, Teeks is going for more power-ups. Nothing wrong with that.
Now you see 5-9 off the beaten path as Macobra is running through 5-1. Now that start he got, kind of interesting that he didn't hit that coin block, because if you're invincible and you hit it, you get another star. Pro-A not getting much luck with the matches. Or maybe just not wasting time.
Well, we're taking some time to check out what the Hammer Bro in the Sky portion has. Ooh, P-Wing for safety. Nice.
Also good for 7-6 should we come across that level.
Alright, 5-7. This level has an entire section that we just gloss over because it's pointless for us.
Yeah, the only time that ground section ever really gets visited is in the category extension.
I'm sorry, what category extension? I missed that.
All P-switches. It's a category that I've heard mention of. And I believe Raikou Riders put a few runs into that.
All P-switches? My condolences to anyone who forgets the one in 6-8 then.
Yeah, or any one during that run in that matter, because you clear a level and you miss a P-switch, that's basically a dead run. Or all switches. Thank you, thank you.
Well, Chad is certainly giving their opinion about it. It's not for everyone. And, you know, I can't help but notice something. We've gone through 5 Koopa Kids, and I don't recall any of them shaking up the room yet.
Maybe one did and it was a one-hitter, or it was beaten with fire. Hard to say. Which means if that's the case, then Ludwig's probably our other one. Because the 6th Koopa Kid is always on a ball and does not quake. Ever.
But could you imagine how bad it would be if every time you move and, you know, bounce on the ball it causes quakes? Stunlock City. No thank you. Also, I can't help but notice, I don't think any of the worlds have had different fortress amounts this time.
Doesn't look like it, as Macobra is opting to speed things up with a Spike Walk damage boost.
And Pro-A taking the high road through, Roy's Fort. So yeah, the only earthquaking Koopa Kid we would have seen by this point would have been Wendy, and I think most of our runners took her out with fireballs.
Yeah, which was a smart strategy, because Wendy's fight can get pretty crazy with all those rings on the screen. However, I personally find that... Oh, wait a minute, we got a difference in forts. I don't know what possessed Macobra to utilize a P-Wing here, but it was an incredible call, because it was 7-9, which, with a P-Wing, the start of it's really free.
I'm going to try to take a... It's a 9 tile, so in this case, I'm guessing Macobra just gambled on it. Because the other choice was 6-9, where you would have been able to fly over it anyway.
Yeah, so it makes sense. So, honestly, it happened to work out real well.
So what this means is we should be seeing an extra... Actually, in this case, since we saw a duplicate 9 tile, yeah, we're not going to see any duplicate 10 tiles, or... At least I don't think so. But this also means we're down to 2 forts or 1 fort. There is always 1 fort per world. And, oh gosh, Hammer Bro, stop with the dancing! Let Proa move!
This is infuriating. That's just infuriating whenever that happens. Pro-A doing the same play and getting the same result to start. It's a free flight. I think the only thing that would be faster would be clipping, but that's not one that I've learned myself.
And we now have confirmation that 6 Fort 3 has moved to the pipe maze.
And we know this because World 8 always has the same 4 in this flag set. No more, no less.
I don't even want to imagine World 8 with more than 4.
As Macobra dispatches Boom Boom with fire.
And, alright, Proa going for 6-7, while Teek's going with 6-8. I mean, both are reasonably quick, especially without the auto-scrollers. And, oh, nice decision to cloud over 6-6 and 6-5, but Macobra has to make this count. Any death here at this point before taking out Lemmy means those clouds are wasted.
That's never a good feeling when you waste one. Wasting two, especially with those levels being in the...
Now, Teeks is going through 6-6. And this is a level where... I mean, really, just, what was it? The race last week for an example of why this level is not exactly great, but, you're seeing the rest of the reasons why.
Yeah, this level is... Yeah, it turns into Lag City, especially with all those fire plants.
But Teeks is through. As Macobra is now entering the pipe maze. So while we're going to figure out how to navigate this place, please follow our runners because they deserve... There's more than... There are 4 runners here. And there are 2 locks, at least. Please follow Pro 007 Media Guy DP, Macobra 52, and Teeks.
And the first fort we come across in World 7 is 7F1. Now, this one requires flight, so this power-up that Macobra's coming up to is not randomized. It will always be that Tanuki suit. And Teeks is in a hammer suit.
I don't remember if that hammer suit was... Oh, that was 610, so it may have been a vanilla hammer suit in that pipe. But either way, using the hammer... I mean, if it was a found one, there you go. Good find, but if it was one of the power-ups used... Ooh, Teeks really wants that clip. And gets it.
That's a fun clip to hit. Well, when you're doing a speed run and you're on this airship, that's literally just time where you're giving your hands a rest. In Rando, you're saving it. If you get it first try, you get it in about 4 seconds, and we get our first 5-star frog splash of the evening, courtesy of MIDI Guy DP.
And now... Macobra is feeling the pipe maze. There are 2 locks on the way to the actual castle. And the third one, we don't know what it blew up, but oh, 2 forts back to back. Ouch.
And this is not a pretty back-to-back, because the tail end of this back-to-back is 7F2. It's gonna get ugly, folks, potentially.
Oh boy, Lemmy has a number of hits here. Media Guy's trying to take it carefully, but jumping on this Koopa Kid is not as easy as it looks. There we go.
I believe was the 5th and final hit.
Oh, and Teeks fell in the lava.
I think that was deliberate to use the P-Wing based off item selection. Still a little bit faster.
Alright,
and meanwhile, look at Macobra go!
Fire flowers at the ready. Got through the Tunnel of Love, through the backwards L. And now just... Oh, come on, Boo Diddleys, get out of there! You want to go fast here.
That Rotodisc and Thwomp ain't gonna help, but he's through clean, which means one thing. Boom Boom's about to get fried.
However, Teeks' early extra hammers have paid off. Teeks doesn't have to go through any of that already on the airship.
That is brilliant strategy from Teeks, knowing that hammers are in the end card game, knowing there's 2, and getting the extra needed to get out of this world. The chat gives him a slight lead heading into the Ludwig von Koopa fight, but Macobra is right behind him, as is Proa.
And there we go. Ludwig von Koopa is a Quaking Koopa Kid. 4 hits, and that's it.
Macobra's got fire. If he pulls this off, it'll allow him to get some execution. Oh, that was a bad corner to get into because he got hit, but he recovers nicely. Takes Ludwig out.
Now Meaty Guy getting through Fort Knox. Has the tail, has the escape pipe. And Proa is ready to head into Darkland as well.
As Bowser is taunting us with a Darth Vader line, we got 3 pipes and Air Force to start World 8. And Teeks is going right for Air Force, taking no chances whatsoever. He'll figure out the pipes afterwards.
And Macobra doing the same thing. Going for safe strats. We do not know how many locks and how many bridges there will be. We know there will be a total of 4 of those things. But what's going to matter is where they are located. And Proa just going to go for it. Now, Teeks is deciding to start with the pipe closest to start. And we're in the dark. We saw 1 lock, 2 pipes, and the Navy stage. So, what is this Navy ship floating on anyway, Leslie?
I've thought about that for a while, because as a kid I was thinking is that chocolate milk? I mean, I was a child at the time, but definitely, if anything, that is some real muddy, disgustingly polluted water. Nothing I'd want to go swimming in, that's for sure, as we have found the tank level on Proa's side. This will give an item at the end, but he's going to have to clear it to get to the fort on the other side.
And Macobra broke open one of the locks early with the remaining hammer, but it didn't lead anywhere good. While Teeks was caught by a hand trap and chooses to take the fall.
Well, the stage was at a dead end, so you don't really have to do the level, and, well, could Super Tank be the play? Teeks is gonna go for it.
While Proa is going through the dark door maze. It's going to be one of these two.
Meanwhile, Mitty Guy barely gets out of the fight against Ludwig. That was a close. Moment of truth. Does Teeks have the answer?
No,
that's not the answer. It was still required anyway. So getting it out of the way was a smart play. It just wasn't the right play.
No, in this case, Proa has the advantage, even if he doesn't realize it, because we had to take out the dark door maze to build the bridge today.
Mitty Guy is opting to go for the pipes instead, which, despite being a different strategy, is smart because he might be feeling behind, and, well, he is a little bit behind, but we don't know how much behind. On the other hand, the hand stages are giving out P-Wings.
Nice to have some, extra power available, but right now, Meaty Guy gets caught by the hands and chose to... I don't know if that was an intentional death or not. Out of all the hand stages, most of the runners I've seen do not like to play through the first one, which is the Hammer Bro Alley.
Small Mario tends to have a bit of trouble with the third one, and I'm just glad those aren't the same cheap that are in Mario Maker, because that would be terrifying.
Oh, Mario Maker, you have come up with such crazy things, and yet I still feel like we're missing some things.
MIDI guy got stunned. Nothing he could do there. Meanwhile, Pro is there. He just has to clear super tanks. Ooh, MIDI guy got flamed.
While Macobra is the first of our featured 4 to enter Bowser Koopa's castle. Nice jump on top of the laser statues. Try to go for a clip, no good, but it's okay, we still have plenty more opportunities.
Nice hammer shot there to get rid of the hot foot, not even giving it a chance to misbehave. Now, there's some interesting things about Bowser's castle that we probably should go over.
Well, you may want to do so before Pro gets there because Macobra wants to clip and avoid it.
Yeah, what he's trying to avoid is that next room where if you he's able. Wow, Macobra, that was sick.
Nice.
What he's avoiding is the rooms now have randomly shooting laser statues and random fireballs, but that doesn't matter because Macobra clipped past it first try, already has Bowser down. Wow. Just wow. Get your GGs in chat. That was insane.
Indeed. With that, Macobra is first amongst our featured runners to finish with an official SRL time of 36 minutes, 2 seconds, as Teeks is going for a clip of their own. I'm going to see if we can get our runner in for an interview, or make that runners. Teeks is about to finish as well.
And Proe's just wrapping up as well. We're likely gonna could get 3 in here at the same time. I'm gonna get the times for this because this was a very good restream. So, Teeks, 3640. Pro 007, 3650. A difference of 10 seconds between the two. Wow, that was incredible.
Indeed, I'll see if our runners wish to join. Well, there's one of them right now. Welcome, Pro 007.
That was interesting. I think I, again, misplayed World 8, but otherwise I thought I did really well.
We've got both Pro 007 and Macobra 52 in chat. GG, what a finish between you two. Because we had you two and Teeks all finish within a span of 50 seconds, which, wow. That's just mind-boggling to think about for a restream.
Yeah, that was an awesome finish, for sure.
Cobra, you getting any deja vu here?
Maybe a little.
Yeah, I think if I had if I had stayed away from the bridge in World 8, I probably might have been even tighter. I played tanks and 8 for it. I don't know what it ended up breaking or not breaking, but it doesn't seem to have had much effect.
Yeah. On the contrary, that 8 fort was the key to building the bridge, so you had to go that way. We are also joined by Teeks. GG, what a finish between you three.
Hey there, everyone. GG. Yeah, that was a really fun race. I really enjoyed that series.
Yeah.
GG's.
Yeah.
GG.
I don't know about you guys. I hate leaving clouds on the table. I left 2 clouds. I only used 1 on 6.
Yeah, I got a good deal of clouds through over the course of the race because I was able to complete 1 full deck of end cards. So I was only left with 1 by the time I finished Bowser's Castle, which I couldn't really use for anything else.
Right.
Yeah, I had 1 left as well, I think.
I had 2, and I didn't even play the end card. I was just getting them off of Hammer Bros and what have you.
I would say that the Hammer Bros were pretty generous this time around.
Yeah, and in general, I didn't play the end card at all, and I got 2 hammers and 3 clouds just by foraging.
Yeah, plus you got a free cloud right in the beginning of 1-3 if you went behind the level card to the secret toad house. That was a cloud right there.
Yeah, that was nice. So yeah, it's like I've kind of resolved once I got a cloud and a hammer in World 1's like, okay, I'm not playing the card. The Hammer Bros and the Princess will give me whatever I need.
Interesting you mentioned that, Proy, because there were hammers in the end card game.
Break hammers or hammer suit or both.
I saw regular hammers.
I believe the
Okay.
mushrooms were hammers.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hammers a plenty, but yeah, that probably, and having to play 6F3 probably slowed me down a little bit in World 7, but I still had 1 hammer left to use, and I burned it out. I burned that one. Whatever lock was left over.
I think I only made like 2 major mistakes over the course of the race. One was just taking that death in 6-8 because I didn't know how to react to certain enemy spawns, so I thought I could just damage boost through that. So I ran out of iframes at the last minute. And then like I opened my inventory at the end of World 5 just to see what I had. It turns out I had 2 clouds and 2 hammers that I was looking to use strategically. So by the time I got to World 7, I started to lose count of what I had accrued since then. So I had 1 extra hammer and 2 locks to break. So I ended up using 7F1 for no reason.
Yeah.
So that probably could have saved me about 30 to 40 seconds.
Right.
Also worth noting, Macobra got a first try clip above the thwomp, which took him right to the final fight. I almost blinked for a second, and I'm glad I held my attention because I almost missed it.
Yeah, I usually get the top clip like a couple of tries, and if that doesn't work out, I start going down bottom path and just get that one college try and see if it works. It always awesome when it does.
I lucked out getting the top clip first try. What did you do, Macobra?
Nice. Yeah, I did the clip with where the twomp is right there.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was a good seed. Did get to use all of those little tricks. Yeah. If I have an extra P-Wing, I never miss a chance to go for the item in 5-1 because you never know.
Right.
So,
funny thing, I used my P-Wing at the first level in World 6, thinking it was 6-9, but it's actually 7-9. So
okay.
That worked out.
Yeah, same here. I did that as well with 6-9, and I think it was 6-9. Like, nope, 7-9, but that's fine. So you get a free ride up to the top of the pipes and just take it from there. So it worked out, but
yeah.
Meanwhile, MIDI Guy has finished off Bowser as he's crashing through the floor.
right.
Solid run by all of our participants tonight.
Solid run indeed. With Claris.com finishing in 5th. Off Restream with a 41.39. Our winner, by the way, was Human Mustard with a 34.14. And MIDI Guy DP wraps things up with a 42.59. GG's for everyone.
GG, insane talent Mustard's side there.
Excellent times from all of you guys, really.
Yeah.
Alright, Meaty Guy does wish to join for an interview. Let's bring them up.
And we are now joined by MIDI Guy DP. GG's on a well-played seed.
GG. I think it went decently for me overall until the end. The end, it went downhill. Woo.
Sometimes World 8 can do that to you, though admittedly, for most of you, I feel like World 7 was causing some minor issues.
Yeah, I saw 2 locks, and I was like, well, I have a hammer. I guess I could just beat a fortress and just use my hammer. And then I was like, there's another fort. Because I didn't see all of World 6, too, because I sort of skipped by some of that, so I would have never known that, like, that extra fort in World 6 wound up in World 7, I guess.
Yeah, it does that. But it also didn't help that Fort Knox didn't end up breaking anything visible, which, for me, I know that. Because I thought, okay, I'll just beat that and get the hammer. And like, whoops, well, I guess I gotta double back. Luckily, the next pipe I went to where I need to be.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with me right there. Oh, all in all, it was a lot of fun, as usual.
Yeah, always. Good.
So- Go ahead.
That was a good preview of what we'll be running with tournament next month.
Yeah, you can explain that much better than I can, so Proa, please explain.
Okay, so world order and levels are vanilla by and large. Fort count can still be shuffled, as we saw with worlds. Really, only world 6 and 7 had it tonight, but so this is designed to do a couple of things. One, it makes it a little more accessible to newer runners, not quite as familiar with Mario 3, and aren't going to get thrown into the deep end with 7-5 as their first level. This allows a much easier and gentler entry. It also allows, I think, veterans of both the randomizer and the vanilla game a chance to do some more situational kind of plays. For example, if you see 1-3 right off the bat, you can go for the item and calculate that into your route, or as I mentioned earlier, 5-1. If you have an extra P-wing, you know the item is there, you might go for it because you never know, it might get good.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a mix. It's kind of a hybridization of randomizer, but and vanilla.
Yeah, and then there's also it's always good to save like a mushroom or two for World 7, just in case you have no choice but to do either 7-1 or 7-6.
Exactly. That's why I think that's also why subconsciously I held on to a couple of extra clouds for World 7. Depending on the draw, you could end up having to staring down 7-1, 7-6, 7-5, or 7-8, and if you can, just cloud right over it and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. Though 7-9 was a bit of a surprise in World 6 right there.
Yeah, because there were only 2 forts in World 6. The 6F3 got swung over to World 7, and since World 7 only has 9 levels, or 9 numbered levels, that's what ended up happening.
Yeah.
7-9 ended up being in World 6.
And it did.
Yeah.
I guess I really lucked out then, because that's one of the things that I ended up clouding.
Oh. Nice.
At least we don't have to worry about Atlantis anymore.
Not in Turning Flags 1 you don't. Turning Flags 2 it is still very much in play, but yeah, it also does take out the lost levels. So
that I did need that confirmed, so thank you for that.
yeah. No, so sorry, no Atlantis in Turning Flags 1, but so get 7-5 with Boss Bass, so you're not out of the woods entirely.
Or 7-8 with Boss Bass. Ugh.
Well, yeah, and the second half of that level, yeah, you can be a bit trolly.
Right. So this makes Tourney Flags Group 1 and Group 2 even more different from each other than they were last year?
Correct. Yeah, Tourney Flags 2 is the same as Tourney Flags 2 was last year. The only major difference, the 2 major differences are fort count has been shuffled, and the top route in Bowser's Castle is a little more dangerous.
Gotcha. Which is why I went for the bottom route, which I just learned the hard way that, oh yeah, if you go on the bottom route, you can't really get into the ideal position with your hammer suit.
Yeah, it's hammer kill is a little slower.
Yeah, I still wound up losing mine, but
yeah.
hammer suit, then I still will go the top route. Otherwise, I'll probably be going for the bottom, just to be careful, just in case.
So yes, for those that are interested in joining the tournament, this will be hosted on Speed Gaming. Head to challenge.com/SMB3R2020. That is the numbers 2020, not actually spelled out 2020.
We are currently sitting on 35 players in the tournament. We had 60. We had 60 last year. So hoping to break that record. I know there's still several people who were in last year who have not, as of yet, registered for the tournament. Hoping to see some new faces, eager to learn.
New and returning faces alike will really make the tournament a lot of fun for all of us.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt.
Alright,
Thanks.
any final thoughts from our runners?
Thanks for stepping in on the comms, and GG's to Mustard and for winning, and everyone else who raced tonight.
Good seeing
It's
you,
always
Wolfman.
Yeah, it's always a big pleasure being a part of this. Big thanks again to Speed Gaming for hosting this. Big thank you to our commentators, and looking forward to the next one.
That'll be a week from tonight, the 21st. Flags to be TBD.
And I had a lot of fun with this, and I'm looking forward to the next one. If all goes well, maybe I'll take part in the next one, if I'm able.
Thanks, guys.
Not a problem.
It was our pleasure. Now, before we wrap up, let's have a look at what's left over for the late night portion on the Speed Gaming schedule. In progress is Metroid Prime on Speed Gaming 1 with A Link to the Past Rando 2019 tournament action continuing at 11:50 tonight on this channel. So yes, some stuff for the night owls and those on the West Coast.
Well, unfortunately, I am going to be asleep for that, but, you know, we haven't exactly gotten to the point where we can just have a power-up that lets us bypass the need for sleep. Scientists, you may want to get on that.
Give them time.
Fair enough. With that in mind, I think it's time to wrap up. So for everyone here, our runners, chat, Leslie Pro 04 here, I am Wolfman 2000 aka Danstead. Keep on grooving all, and watch out for Boss Bass.
Have a good night, everybody. Take care. We will see you next time.
Have a good night, folks.
Yeah, everybody.